Alex Osimo Baker for the December 13th, Week 15 Yahoo Dollar Baller. Man, the season's coming to an end, and Alex is just taking the weekend off, putting his feet up in Miami right now, right?
No, man, I'm preparing for how I'm gonna be a baller over here. I mean, the thing about week 15 is there's more money on the line than any other week, so I feel like I've been trying extra hard to get a read on this week. So
I like
it. I think we both want to be a baller, and we could both do it if we maybe build the winning lineup on the show tonight. What do you think, man?
It's gonna happen at some point, right? Like, So maybe this is the week, and we'll tie for first in the baller with 50 other people. Today's show, of course, sponsored by Yahoo. It is Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, home of the, I believe, 175K baller today, or on Sunday, sorry, $15,000 top prize. As well, they have NBA 30K ballers tonight with 5K to first. I'm not an NBA guy, and I play in those NBA sports, those NBA tournaments all the time because they're awesome. Lots of overlay as well. If you're not playing on Yahoo, go get over there and take advantage. I think there was like 500 or 1,000 people that weren't in that contest last night. So just filling out lineups at the end and taking advantage of the extra free money. Who doesn't like free money? As well, Yahoo has upload CSV features now, so you can upload a bunch of lineups at once, which makes it so much easier to mass multi-enter. You can claim up to $30 in YSRP rewards points by going over to Osimo.com. You can click on Emacs Weekly's article, and there's a link in there, or you can just sign up for Yahoo and use promo code Osimo. Definitely go over there. It's my favorite site to play so far this year. It's been such a revelation having them in Canada. So if you're waiting, you probably shouldn't be, because they're just absolutely great values. They have no rake NFL tournaments every week. They have 10% management fees. It's everything we've been asking for from DFS for a while. So that's my spiel, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to convince me. I'm already on there.
Absolutely. So we got, if you're new to the show, we basically go over the top 5 total games of the week for the first 30 minutes or so, talk about some of those games, what we're doing, who we like, how we're going to fit as much Saquon Barkley into our lineups as possible. And then over the second half of the show, we're going to just build some lineups for you. We'll build 2 GPP lineups, and we will build a cash lineup as well. So why don't we just dive in here? The highest total game of the week, which I'm surprised at, Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans, 50 points. You got some general thoughts for me on this one?
Well, Ryan Tannehill is the new Patrick Mahomes, man. He's been unstoppable. I saw some graphic that said that he's been the most effective quarterback in the league or something so far this year. So yeah, that's about all you can say about it is how are you not going to love Ryan Tannehill week in, week out?
Yeah, man, and like a reasonable price on Yahoo, $30. I'm sure his receivers are also very cheap. We have AJ Brown at, oh my God, AJ Brown is $15. So that's nuts. And then of course Corey Davis, $13. Like if you are looking for a cheap double stack right there, that's one for you. What do you think about that stack, or possibly a Jonah Smith option as well?
Well, to be more serious, I actually do like it a lot because you got a game against a team in Houston that has some firepower, and you're not only constrained by how good your opponent's defense is, but how good their offense is, because for you to see 40-point scores in NFL, that doesn't happen much unless the other team's putting up points. So I think this game should have a lot of fantasy appeal. So I'm pretty excited for this one, man. What do you think?
Yeah, man, just looking at those prices, I think this is going to be one of the first spots I go this week. I mean, AJ Brown has been a revelation during the second half of the season and just keeps getting better every game. Corey Davis still seeing a lot of the field. We don't have him graded out particularly well. And then, of course, you've got the option of pairing up with Derrick Henry, though that does seem suboptimal and not correlated. Also, Derrick Henry's price point is $36. So And then you've got some bring back options here on the other side that you can game stack with that are also really appealing. First question though, are you interested in $36 Derrick Henry, or is that going to be fade territory for you?
I have to say that is fade territory. Well, he's been unbelievable. So in the past few weeks, I mean, this is not a guy who's a top tier fantasy running back because he's just not effective enough out of the backfield. In fact, Deion Lewis still comes in for a lot of pass situations. So I think that Derrick Henry is quite overpriced this week. But it's hard to argue with the hot hand, man. Which side are you leaning on here?
I'm leaning on fading Derrick Henry as well, just because there are some other options available in this game. So, and we've seen like Houston get torched via the pass. So I'm definitely leaning towards the fade there, and I like some other running backs at some very good price points on this slate as well. Looking like though you're going to get a pretty solid ownership across the board here on these guys. AJ Brown under 10%, Tannehill just 5% owned. So not only is it a good value stack, but I think it's also good value for ownership. And I'm probably going to be overweight on the field on that. What about some bring back options here from the Tennessee side of things? We have DeAndre Hopkins at $32. We have the hobbled and either like going off or useless Will Fuller, $17. We have Kenny Stills, who hasn't really done much, but has been serviceable at a very cheap price. Assuming Will Fuller can't go, I'd imagine he'd be a pretty good bargain. And of course, Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde. Any favorite options there? And of course, and Deshaun Watson, I didn't even mention.
I think that Will Fuller is pretty appealing at $17. Guy that gets targeted a lot whenever he's on the field, and from the injury reports, it looks like he's back. So I think that's a good price. Hopkins at 32, that's just kind of above his pay grade for the year. So I'm not super interested. And then Kenny Stills, that would be a play if Fuller's out, but Fuller's in. I would love him if Fuller's out because he hasn't done squat. And I think people wouldn't want to click that button again.
Yeah, that's fair. Hopkins has had some solid fantasy games, and like I feel like he's got a pretty safe floor. But yeah, the upside really hasn't been there lately. Just 3 games all year above 20 fantasy points on Yahoo. We just haven't seen those huge games from him yet so far. Though 93 receptions, 1,000 yards, 7 TDs. It's nothing to sneeze at so far. Yeah.
We actually just got some news in this one. Adam Humphrey is ruled out, so maybe we're going to see AJ Brown week again.
Oh man, I like it. I'm just gonna pull up their snap count last week because I believe Adam Humphries was also out last week.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
So just let me see what kind of routes run and snap counts they've got going on here for Tennessee from last week. Yeah, it's looking very much like a concentrated offense. Brown and Davis getting around 80% of the snaps, and I'm guessing a pretty big chunk of the yards run as well. Tajay Sharp third in the pecking order. And then let's just check in on Jonah Smith as well, who caught a touchdown last week. He's running routes and seeing snaps, but nothing really exciting here. I mean, I think he's more of a like flyer, low-owned flyer maybe in stacks. We do have him priced cheaply at $11. Do you have any interest in him?
Yeah, a little bit of interest. He has had some good fantasy games this year. He's targeted a lot on the field, but as you mentioned, not really impressive numbers last week. He blocked for 11 passing plays and ran routes on 11. That's a pretty negative sign. It was a game that they won by 21 points, so you can't read into it kind of completely. But how are you feeling about Jonah?
No, I'm with you there. I'm not going to have too much. There's just other tight ends. Like you can just go up such a small amount to get so much more safety at the position with some huge upside. You know, Darren Waller is $20 and a pretty good matchup against a horrible Jacksonville defense. So, like or Hunter Henry, $18. Like paying up a small amount to get a much safer option with a much higher upside seems like a more viable move to me. But of course, in Tennessee stacks, I think throwing him in one lineup isn't the worst idea.
All right, so I just took out Adam Humphries, and the projection for yards for AJ Brown went from 52 to 57. So not like a total solid fantasy player, but 15. I mean, that's not too
Cheap.
bad, right?
Cheap. I think we got it. I think we got the makings of a contrarian stack a little later on in the show. 27 implied total too, right? So
is it not the chalk stack?
What's that?
I feel like, man, am I the only one who thinks Tannehill is gonna?
I know. He's 5% owned right now.
Wow.
So that's what we're projecting. So I mean, that may go up as people realize that a 27 implied total is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
But right now, it's certainly looking like that's a contrarian move, and I will be all over that. There's a lot to like actually this week. I normally sometimes I feel like I don't have a good feel or an NFL slate, but like there's just stuff that really standing out. Saquon Barkley for $26, like I don't know, that just to me screams lock or close to it. And in our crunches, we get a lot of him. Like I think I had 99% on my last crunch. So guys like that, they just seem like great values, and I think you can just over leverage the field with higher exposure and a great matchup. But
I think I heard you say something about Locke. Is that who are going for Denver stack?
Lock Saquon.
So there we go.
Though, like Drew Lock, maybe not terrible. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move it on to the next game here. Seattle Seahawks favored by 6.5 at Carolina, 49-point total. You got some general thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is in it, so that's pretty interesting. But $44, man. Like the games haven't been that good, and the salary keeps climbing. So that's interesting. The McCaffrey, he didn't have a good week last week, so it's interesting that, I mean, tough matchup versus Seattle, you have to think.
Yeah.
Chris Carson, 34, his price climbed a lot. And we're going to see more production with Rashad Penny out. But I don't think he's a $34 player despite that. So pretty expensive price tags in this game.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about Chris Carson, I've seen like on Twitter, people saying like they're projecting him for like an 85% snap count and a 7% target share. Forgive me, I can't remember who tweeted that out. But you know, like that's $34 or $35 for someone getting that, and then you could just go down $7 and get Leonard Fournette, who's been getting that all season long, right? So I prefer some other options on this slate, and if Carson's going to be chalk because people are worried, people think there's a positive game script and that he's going to get all of the workload with Penny out, I would still rather just roster Leonard Fournette.
I agree, man. People absolutely love the Seahawks, and it's kind of like the 13th man in DFS is all those people just picking Seahawks players.
And man, let me tell you, as a 49ers fan living in Vancouver, you got to put up with a lot of nonsense from Seahawks fans. Alex. And, it's tough. It's tough. Being forced to watch Rick Meyer growing up as well has left a scar on me that will never be fully healed.
We have a lot of scars from sports these days, I'm sure.
All right. So let's talk about some of these. First off, I guess the quarterbacks. Do you have Russell Wilson? There's some cheap pricing on the quarterbacks this week. $30 for Russell Wilson, not bad. Do you like him in a stack? Or are you going to be pairing him up with Lockett, who's done nothing for quite a while? Let me just double check that because So he's had four straight games with under 6 targets and under 50 yards, 0 touchdowns. Seems to be the kind of production that we projected for him to begin the season, and now it's finally happening. Any interest in Metcalf or Lockett stacks or Hollister stacks?
Yeah, I think if everyone is going to Chris Carson, maybe going to Wilson stack with Lockett makes sense to me. I mean, the track record on that guy is pretty long, so I'm not really worried about any particular week's stretch. Over the past year or two, he's been extremely good. When he gets the targets have always been the question mark, so it's not surprising that he went a few weeks without like a ton of them.
Absolutely, and there's there are 2 really obvious bring back options here on the Carolina side of things. You can go with a Wilson double stack and bring back McCaffrey, or with DJ Moore. Both of those I think make sense in a scenario where Wilson is going to be throwing the ball maybe a little bit more, and this game's a little bit closer than we think it is. It's possible, right?
I think that works too. What I was thinking is Ian Thomas at $12. I mean, he showed last week that he's got the potential for big games, and that seems like one of the cheaper price tags on the slate. So that's another option.
And he, as like just as we were getting on the show, Greg Olsen was officially ruled out for this week. So Ian Thomas at that price seems pretty good. He was my fade of the week last week. I think a lot of people were on the fade train, and he was good. Like 5 receptions, 57 yards. If he doesn't catch that touchdown, I think you probably could have gotten away with fading him. But that like 1 yard touchdown kind of sealed the deal as the value play of the week. And sometimes that value hits, and this could be another one of those options where you're going to get maybe a little bit less ownership than we had last week because he was at like 20% or something. So now who knows? We'll have to wait and see what it looks like on Sunday morning. But right now we don't have him projected for very much, though that was probably with the uncertainty surrounding Greg Olsen. Anything else here? Anything I'm missing? Do you like DJ Moore at all? Curtis Samuel? Any contrarian stacks with Kyle Allen?
Nah, I'm not loving it. I mean, Kyle Allen is someone that's kind of interesting on a weekly basis, but $28 on Yahoo, not a favorable price.
Why would you pay for $28 Kyle Allen when you could have $30 Russell Wilson, or like there's like Garoppolo of 31? Like that's a tough price to pay for, and I'm guessing like at that price point he's probably going to be the lowest owned quarterback on the slate. So.
Are you trying to talk people onto him just by no one's gonna have him?
As a contrarian option. Hey, I meant to ask you, you got any Yahoo best ball teams left?
Yeah, well, the best ball was season long on Yahoo, so I'm still sweating that. They didn't have like the tiered one, but man, Yahoo best ball kicked ass.
Oh, I can't wait to go in next year. I have one bullet left and no Lamar Jackson, so it's not looking good right now. All right. Any final thoughts on this one?
I think it will just be popular because the teams involved are full of fantasy commodities. So as far as the game stack, I'm not quite as interested.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's move it on. Next game, we have the Cleveland Browns. Man, there's some weird high total games this week. I guess it's Arizona, so it makes sense. But Cleveland Browns at Arizona, I think they are favored by 3 points, 49 total here. General thoughts on this one, Alex?
Well, I think that Arizona is a great matchup because they play at a fast pace and their defense is subpar. So that makes guys like Nick Chubb, $28, kind of reasonable price tag for him. That makes him appealing, as well as the Cleveland passing guys. Arizona, on the other hand, not as good a matchup, but not bad. The problem with Arizona is there are only really like 2 guys that are consistent at all at getting the workload, Kirk and Drake, and then maybe Fitzgerald at $11. That's a pretty good price tag too. So it's going to be hard to really love the Cardinals players individually this week.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's tougher bring back option for sure than it has been. Let's talk about these Browns pass catchers a little bit, because I feel like, I don't know, I haven't checked the ownership on this yet, but I feel like this could be possibly a contrarian stack. Jarvis Landry getting a really high snap count, leading the team in routes run, has gotten between 7 and 13 targets. Looks like every single game since October 27th. And then you have Odell Beckham Jr., who is just $20 now. He's questionable with a groin injury, so who knows? If he's out, I think you probably bump up Jarvis Landry a little bit. His target share is not great, but also the price point isn't that high. Do you like some Baker Mayfield stacks? And also, one more question that I think I buried the lead here. David Njoku, $13, going up against the Arizona Cardinals.
I'll be excited if people have him this week, that's for sure, because he just hasn't been on the field very much. And I think he always played 1 game since coming off the IR. But
yeah, so he didn't even lead the team in stats. It looks like Carlson was leading the team in snaps. So I haven't checked the routes run because that's really important for tight ends, right? But cancel that. Give me some Landry Beckham.
What you're looking for here, if you want to pick a Njoku, unfortunately, we're not going to have that inactive until 2:30. But if Stephen Carlson or their other tight end, Ricky Seals-Jones, were inactive, then I feel like Njoku would be a good fantasy play. Otherwise, can't touch him.
Is Ricky Seals-Jones' revenge game a thing?
It is now, man. You sold me on it.
Man, he has not been getting much run. So, unfortunately, not looking good, I would say. Only a 20% snap share last week. Yeah, all right. I'm kind of liking this. I like this stack if it's low ownership. Do you have any love for Jarvis Landry?
Yeah, I mean Landry's been really good this year so far. Price tag looks pretty fair, so I'm not seeing an edge here, but I wouldn't avoid him.
Awesome. Arizona side of things, you kind of touched on it a little bit. We have Kyler Murray, though, rating out as a pretty good value. I noticed our cheat sheets come out in about 5 hours for Yahoo, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Fantasy Draft. And on Yahoo, we have Kyler Murray listed as a really good value. He came up as kind of a core cash option. Are you interested in him at all?
Definitely. I mean, he's a guy that gets it done on the ground and passing. Matchup, it's about average, I'd say. Kyler Murray's averaged 7 yards per pass this year, which isn't good. But one thing I like about going up against Cleveland is they have some of the lowest number of plays per drive. And what that means is just more drives in the game and a higher percentage of plays for Arizona. So I think you could see some really good numbers from Kyler. It's just kind of like who would you stack him with in a GPP.
So do you look at, when you're doing that, do you look at plays per drive, or do you look at like total plays per game per offense?
I look at everything, but yeah, it's like, well, you want to like kind of divvy up how many plays each team's gonna get, and certain teams like Baltimore just like dominate the number of plays per game, like percentage wise, where Cleveland's on the other end of the spectrum.
Oh, I like it. I like it. So you're saying your projections synthesize thousands of data points?
Trillions.
What about the Arizona side here? Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, Kenny Drake was popping last week a little bit. He is $17, though, priced up a little bit. Any love for these guys?
I'm not super keen on anyone other than Fitz because $11 wide receiver, like if he's playing the whole game, that's pretty appealing. But it's super cheap, yeah. So I think that he's a good play in any format. The other guys I'm not really on. Drake is a good player, but the problem is David Johnson and Chase Edmonds are back in the mix here, so I'm not expecting him to have quite as high workload going forward.
Man, I like that Fitzgerald call. $11, 92% offensive snap rate, 55 snaps, second on the team in routes run last week. Give me some of him for sure, because especially I think we may get to him in cash. We'll see. But hasn't really had the numbers, but also like, he's getting the field, he's seeing the field, and like I think you can probably project him for around 7 targets, which isn't the end of the world. And if he gets in there, he's into the end zone, he's definitely going to pay off his price.
Yeah.
All right, we got 2 more games to get through here.
All right.
Rams and Dallas. One of the great things about this Yahoo slate is, of course, you get to play. Is this a Sunday nighter?
No, it's a 4 p.m. one. Oh. Buffalo at Pittsburgh is Sunday night.
What? Why did they do that to us? Shouldn't they have flexed this game up there? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out to lunch. I don't know. Wait, yeah. So Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Wow. All right. That's kind of
Pittsburgh has been. I mean, those have been 2 good teams. It's not good fantasy teams, so
yeah,
I can understand it.
I guess you're right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just going to be an uglier game, But
yeah,
should be a good one. Rams and Cowboys. This line has been moving towards the Rams. I've been watching the Rams a little bit lately, and they seem to be looking a lot more like their old selves, whereas Dallas is going in the opposite direction. What are your general thoughts on this one? 49-point total, Rams by 1.5, I believe.
Well, I'll start with the Rams because I've been hearing a lot of buzz in the industry that Cooper Kupp is getting phased out of the offense. Yeah. He only played 19 of 68 plays last week, so there's definitely merit to that. The thing is, Cooks, Woods, and Reynolds all played comparable amounts on passing plays. So pretty hard to pick anyone off this team, I think, but I still am kind of leaning towards giving Kupp some more chances here because just earlier in the season he was that good. Can you talk me off this one?
I don't know what's going on. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We were talking a little bit about this on the betting show. It's like how does he get 20 offensive snaps? How does he get outsnapped 2-1 by Josh Reynolds? Is this is there is it a scheme thing? Is he hobbled? I don't know the answer to it. I think and like it'll come down to ownership for me because I don't know if people are aware of like how little he's being used right now. So if he's not going to be owned, I think he's a great flyer for maybe a bounce back spot. Woods just seems to be the go-to guy right now. So I'm much higher on him, and I think he's probably much safer. He's just $18 and Cup is 22. So I think if you want both the safety and the upside and a pretty plus matchup running a lot in the slot in Dallas, I would just plug in Woods and go from there. But if the ownership is crazy different, then maybe you want to make that pivot.
I think you're right. Like the general public, the ones playing this baller tournament, they won't know the snap count thing is way too much in the details. So just fire up Woods if you're going to do a ramp stack, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Leverett, questionable, still not practicing. Do you like Higbee at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's tremendous. I think last week he was on like an evening slate or something, so I didn't really follow how he's doing. But he had another 100-yard game. Like, dude, $14. How are you not going to pick this guy?
Well, this is the thing, right? It's like one of the reasons possibly that Cup's getting less playing time is because they're going to, I don't know if they're like focusing on if they're running like a little bit of, they're just focusing the offense a little bit more on Higbee and a little less on Cooks and Cup. I haven't checked their 11 personnel usage, but maybe they're using 3 wide receiver sets less. But there's a couple of explanations as to why. But Higbee might be one of them, man. The guy's a beast.
I'm a little bit less optimistic about him, but at $14, that's just too good.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not expecting the 100 yards games to continue, but you never know because Goff kind of like I feel like Goff's the kind of quarterback that needs that easy outlet over the middle of the field. And maybe Higbee's the new Cup.
For sure, and they haven't been throwing as much to the running back this year, so maybe the tight end is the beneficiary.
Well, speaking of running backs that they haven't been throwing to, Todd Gurley, $21. Can you talk me off him here? 23, 19 rushing attempts, back-to-back games. Dude scores touchdowns, 4 targets last game. Is this how good of a play is this week?
I could try to talk you off him, but I'd rather talk you onto him because the coach has been saying like we're not gonna give him limited usage anymore. So I think we might see the Todd Gurley of 2018, the first 15 weeks, come back. Yeah, you might have another week where he falls down at the 1 intentionally to avoid getting a touchdown. But 21, that's a good price.
21's a great price. You pair him up with Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette. Like just the running back value on this slate is absolutely insane. Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I can't get off him. I'm going to have a lot. He's currently projected in your first run ownership projections for 30% ownership. Robert Woods getting 11%, by the way, and Cup 9%. So yeah, go with Woods over Cup as it currently stands. What about the Dallas side of things? We got Dak Prescott showing up in a few crunches. Amari Cooper, $29 seems overpriced. Michael Gallup, 21 seems just about right, maybe. And of course, your boy Zeke Elliott, $32.
Well, I think the matchup isn't very favorable because the Rams D is above average. Man, I don't know what to make of the passing because at the start of the year, Dak Prescott was just like lights out, had a couple of slower weeks. Amari Cooper has really been struggling recently. So I would like to see a price tag lower than 29. I guess he did all right last week, but I think that they're worth taking some shots on, but the prices aren't very favorable. How do you feel about Dallas?
Yeah, I'm right there with you as well. Like I think that like Cooper is just a little bit too expensive. He's going to pay up to be contrarian spot, I think, and you never know. Like that guy could just break one and break the slate, right? So I think you're not going to need much to get over the field there. You can sprinkle him into a lineup. I don't hate the game stack here, like taking taking the LA side and bringing it back with Zeke or Cooper, and then vice versa, taking the Cowboys side and bringing it back with Gurley or Woods. Like I think there's some pretty simple stacks here that, and this game could shoot out. It's in a dome, 50-50 total. Like this is one of those games on a larger slate where you could game stack it up, and I could just see it going ham and wrecking the slate.
Nice, man.
Just throwing that out there. All right, we got one left.
All right.
Ready to move it on?
Yep.
Atlanta at San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 10.5, 48-point total. Looks like their defense is really banged up here. They have K'Wan Williams possibly going to miss. Richard Sherman possibly going to miss. D Ford, just Jaquiski Tart also possibly out. This is shaping up as maybe a contrarian stack on the Atlanta side of things. Little Julio, little Hooper, maybe some Russell Gage. What do you think about the Atlanta side?
I like it. Calvin Ridley being out is extremely significant because that guy had been getting a ton of usage. And the guy replacing him, Olamide Zacchaeus, like he's not someone I'm super worried about taking up a lot of usage. So that means that Hooper and Julio are going to be pretty good fantasy targets. The only question is the matchup being tough. San Francisco, as you mentioned, a couple guys out, so maybe there's some reason for optimism there.
Yeah, man. If they're missing two of their three top corners and one of their pass rushers, this game could be a lot closer than people think. I think so. And people are going to be scared off by the San Fran defense and probably the low total. We'll see how this moves as things get closer and if these guys are actually inactive, because I think that's something to monitor there. What about this suddenly juggernaut of a San Francisco offense? We got Jimmy G, we got Raheem Mostert at $20, and then we got Deebo Samuel $18, Manny Sanders $19, all kind of priced in the middle. Kittle 27. I have a real hard time figuring out this San Fran offense. You're going to be way better at it than I am. So tell me what I'm doing here if I'm stacking up San Fran.
I don't love San Francisco's stack because they do run the ball at one of the highest rates in the league at 50%. So that makes it a little bit tougher to get to some of the guys despite the talent level. I mean, Sanders, Deebo Samuel, and Kittle are all great fantasy players, but with all three on the field at a time, there's just too many ways to divide the pie up, and no one guy is standing out for me. How about you, man? Are you feeling Sanders might be back to his star ways?
Yeah, man. Like I just can't. I like showdown slates. Every time I look at the 49ers, I just like my eyes gloss over. Like I have no idea where this ball's going to go. They mixed in so many players. Kendrick Bourne comes out of nowhere to score. They got 3 running backs that can realistically break one. So and like I've just been going to the Kittle stacks and it hasn't really been working so far. So for me, it's going to be like concentrated offense in Atlanta where you have Julio Jones, Hooper, and bringing it back with one San Francisco player for the most part, which I could see kind of 3 different options being that guy. So that's kind of where I like this game this week. But yeah, I got no hot takes, man. It's they're a tough offense to figure out.
Yeah, I think even Mostert, he's been kind of the hot hand, but if he doesn't have success early in the game, I think we're going to see a lot more Coleman and Breida than we have been.
Absolutely. Manny Sanders probably the safest play of the bunch, getting the most snaps and running the most routes. So Deebo Samuel maybe the highest upside. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Especially because the 49ers won people to slate last week. I'm a little bit more hesitant to go back to them when I don't think they're that good to play to begin with.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point. All right. That's going to do it. We got 20 minutes left. First off, tell us what we got going on at Awesemo.com. We got 3 weeks of NFL left. Let's take advantage of this as much as possible, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell guys, like, the most important tool you can use for fantasy, of course, your own intuition, because that's what we're all trying to do at the end of the day is be the smartest. You're not going to get better unless you're thinking about what you're doing every day. The second most by a close margin is the Awesemo.com subscription. And the reason why is because it just like streamlines your process so much. It gives you accurate projections and ownership. some tools like the top stacks where it really helps you hone in on inefficiencies and what other people are doing. And those tools will help you. They're just resources you can use to make stronger lineups. So I think we have a great product out there.
100%. All right. Couldn't have said it better myself as well. We got some exciting promos coming up next week for soccer as well. So keep an eye on that. It's the end of college football season. Maybe you want to get into a little EPL DFS because let me tell you, EPL, super fun. I love it. There are 4 slates coming up. And we got some I'm catching myself saying interesting. It's like my habit. I say that interesting every second word. We got some great offers coming up. So watch our shows on the Osmo YouTube channel to find out more information about that. Tristan Ho, our soccer guy, is excellent, and he has some solid info there as well.
Dude,
let's build some
EPL locks at like 6 a.m. in the West Coast, right?
It's 7 a.m. West Coast, yeah. So, and like let me tell you, Alex, I've woken up at 7:30 with some placeholder lineups that I'm not too happy about once in a while. So I usually wait to enter it there. Definitely great if you're Central Time or East Coast Time, right? You just wake up and you can watch it.
Well, I know you're joining the club soon, so we'll see you on
EPL. EPL DFS all the time.
It looks like they got it on Yahoo too, so that's definitely going to be a good place to play.
That's amazing. Can't wait to play it on there. All right. Let's build a cash lineup.
All right, I'll see it.
So quarterback, I'm looking at 2 choices: Kyler and Russell.
That's a tough one. I feel like Russell, of course, the better team, but Kyler is probably the guy who has more of the production of his team. So, oh man, I'm kind of torn. Maybe Russell, just because like the team success is a little bit more like consistent. But how do you feel?
I'm good with both of them. They've struggled both of them a little bit, but I think it's probably a little safer with Russell. So I'm good with that. Let's fire him up.
So,
okay, running back Saquon, Gurley. Bam, bam, right?
Yeah, I mean, how would you not, right? I don't know if there are any like real good values this week too. What is Miles Sanders at? Because
he's good. Yeah, he's one of the top plays. He's $15, so like we can definitely throw him in. Other values: White, Laird, Eckler, I think, and James Conner.
As much as I love Laird, I feel like Miles Sanders is the lock at 15. Washington, of course, a team that's probably going to get destroyed, and Miles Sanders pretty game proof. He should be more like 28, like in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. I think you're probably right. And though Philly only favored by about 5 points in that one, so you can see a case, but the price point's just too good to pass up there for sure.
Yeah.
Defenses, we don't have a lot of great options this week, so I'm going to throw some ones out at you. Giants are probably our best projected in terms of value. With the Eagles, we have the Bucks. I'm personally high on the Lions for GPP going up against Winston with an injured hand. What say you?
I like that. I think I feel a little bit better about the Giants because Miami is like a pretty weak team, but Detroit's defense a little bit better than the Giants' defense, which are famed to being terrible. So I think I would also go to Detroit here.
Detroit sounds good. It also looks like the Miami wide receivers are going to play this week. If they're out, I definitely like that. Like if you're missing Albert Wilson and Devontae Parker, you can fire up that Giants defense with impunity. I don't know how Miami scores any points, but that's just me. Let's move it on. Should we go? Let's go wide receiver.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. No double A grades for points here. So standing out to me, it's Julio, it's Jarvis.
I feel like, Chris Godwin, that's got to be our first pick because, I mean, we got the defense against them, which is not an important factor in cash. But Evans is such a big target that I feel like Godwin, he's already been one of the best. Now he's going to even be better.
I would not want to be going up against him in fantasy this week. I'll tell you that much. So
Yeah.
we're popping Godwin. We've got $20 left. Should we get a value tight end in here?
Yeah. So I mean, we were talking a lot about Higbee.
What about Ian Thomas?
I feel like Higbee's just been performing at such a high level, and it's only $2 difference.
Sure. $24 left. Julio.
The matchup's pretty tough.
Jarvis.
27 is a good price for sure.
Julio.
It's kind of crazy that DJ Moore is the same price as Julio.
Now we got $21 left.
Okay.
Stephon Diggs just $22.
Dang.
That's cheap. Now, like Cortland Sutton, 21.
Yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic. Drew Lock has been better than expected too. So
yeah.
Kansas City, certainly a team you don't mind taking wide receivers against because they put up a lot of points.
Right. Let's do it.
All right.
That is our cash lineup. You got a contest all selected there?
Yep, $25, 50-50. And I entered it with YSRP, so I'm everyone here.
I love it. All right, let's build some GPPs.
All right, so we got to do one of the games we talked about at least.
Yeah.
So which one of those games were you the most interested in? What do you say?
I'm most interested in a Tennessee Titans stack.
Okay, I like it, man. Tannehill, Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Corey Davis.
Say that again.
Corey Davis as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's a cheap stack. I'm happy as well. Like, it looks like it's not getting huge ownership, so we can probably go with our. I guess this counts as our contrarian stack.
Yeah, it's it seems pretty strong to me. But if no one else is on it, why not?
Saquon.
Okay.
Gurley.
Okay.
Defense.
So let's take a look. Maybe Philadelphia versus Dwayne Haskins could be a good option.
Well, we could. Do you buy into any of the defense running back correlation? Or is that just dead 5 years ago?
I don't really try to go a lot for it, but I don't try to avoid it.
Miles Sanders. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders is a great play as well as Philadelphia defense. So why not?
Beauty, we got $32 left.
That's a lot, man. Do you think Kittle or Kelsey?
What's that?
Kittle or Kelsey, do you think? Or would we want? I think we gotta get one of those two.
I think we're gonna have some pay-up options here. I think Kelsey, but I'm easy out of the way.
I agree. Just
we got Christian McCaffrey money left over here. So
yeah, but we don't have the roster spot.
We don't have a bring back option too. We gotta pop Hopkins in there.
So we got Hopkins. Okay.
Hopkins.
So now I feel like we need to spend the $6 somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got we can go up from Miles Sanders to Leonard Fournette. Oh no, sorry. We can go up from Gurley to Fournette, which just seems like a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
We can go James Conner.
Yeah, one guy I'm looking at here, James Conner, coming off that injury. $21 is way too low, I feel like.
If he's healthy and they don't go to a timeshare, I think he's probably going to catch people off guard as well. So they haven't shown any tendencies to go to a timeshare in the past, and I'm guessing that he gets the full workload, but that's your only real fear in this one.
I mean, Jalen Samuels is kind of third down back, but the thing is, Pittsburgh, they really need to win these games, so I feel like they're going to roll out their best guy as much as they can.
Good point. And we got the hammer. There's nothing better than having the hammer.
Nice. All right. Well, it will be nice winning this 15K with you guys.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm switching up my D, and I'm gonna like pivot and win it on my own.
Well, dude, yeah. What if you don't? You think you're gonna have some FOMO if you do that?
That'd be awful. Everyone else ties 20th, and I get like $50 for 58th place. All right, we got a chalk stack coming up here.
Chalk stack, Trubisky?
No. 0.6% ownership. Russell
Um,
Wilson, we already put in our cash game. So again, quarterback looks like it's really spread out here as per usual.
how's Mahomes looking?
Mahomes is just 7%. So there aren't
Oh,
really even chalk stacked
well,
options on the slate.
what about Winston?
Winston is 7%.
Dang.
This is a slate a lot similar to last week, where it's just kind of like you choose the best plays, right? I mean, I guess that 13 games does make a difference, but there's no real obvious value options or obvious spots where the ownership's concentrating. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be underweight on 10% owned Deshaun Watson, but that's also a possibility. And Russell Wilson, the chalk.
Yeah, I mean, we could go with a Wilson stack.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Let's do it just for the exercise of filling in contrarian spots.
So do you feel like people who pick Wilson will be picking Metcalf more than Lockett, or are they just gonna pick Lockett? Because why not if you have Wilson?
Let's see what Lockett's at. I think Lockett will be the most stacked. Yeah, it's about the same, but Lockett a little bit more ownership.
Okay.
Stacking them both?
Yeah, why not? Josh Gordon, I wish he was better at fantasy for this team, but it seems like he's not been doing anything.
Now, who are we bringing back with McCaffrey at 13% ownership or DJ Moore at 5% ownership?
Which way would you lean there?
I mean, I would lean probably to Moore just because of or Ian Thomas as well. We could do it for $12, though it just doesn't seem like all that viable. But $17 in savings, and then we can take advantage of some of these running backs in great spots, and maybe find a pivot point elsewhere.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we're going to need to get a little bit more contrarian at running back, though.
Okay.
Since we are kind of chalky so far.
So maybe no Saquon. Okay. Saquon. God, I always say.
How about Fournette, man? Do you think he's going to be popular? Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah. Gurley, we don't have any of him. Gurley, Fournette, Barkley are the chalk.
Okay.
So pivots ownership be Dalvin Cook.
Okay. Well, Alexander Madison's out this week, so that would be interesting.
Oh, well, let's put in Dalvin Cook then.
Okay.
Can we fit him?
Yeah.
No problem. That alone, I think, will probably differentiate you enough. Do you think? 3% owned.
Yeah, I mean, probably we want to maybe get one more kind of contrarian option in here.
Right. Grab a defense.
All right, let's see it. Oops. Tampa Bay versus David Blau. That's kind of interesting. But maybe we want to punt this one.
Let's see. So the Eagles are getting 20% ownership. The Raiders 13%, and everything else is kind of all over the place. So, if you want your, let's see, who else we got?
How washed do you feel like Brady is? Because we could go Bengals versus New England.
I like that 1%, but we don't have a lot of money left. That's the only thing.
$20. Well, no, I'm saying the Bengals for $10.
Oh,
but I'm mostly joking there.
Oh no way! I'm Brady's washed, man.
How about Texans versus Tannehill? I mean, that's going right up against the guy that's hot.
Big ownership though.
Texans D?
No, I'm wrong. Sorry. Hell, let's do it.
Okay.
Texans D. Up against the 27 implied total. It's bold. It's a bold strategy, Kyle.
It might be a bad strategy, but I already clicked it.
Cheap tight end?
All right.
Or I guess actually let's get these flex positions maybe.
Okay.
You still want to avoid Gurley, Saquon, and Fournette?
Well, let's pick our favorite of those guys. So it's none like yours is Saquon. I agree because I think Eli being quarterback is a big benefit to Saquon because he just can't do as much on the ground. Yeah,
exactly. That's kind of where I was at. Didn't work out last week, but maybe this is the week. I just want to look at Miles Sanders as well. 13% for Miles Sanders. So
Okay.
we got $15 left per. We got to take a cheap tight end here. Are we looking at, does OJ Howard get a bump?
Yeah, I mean, I like OJ Howard for sure. $11 is way too low.
Let's take a look here. Just what did he do last week?
He played as the number 1 tight end again, so I'm not really worried about Britt right now.
Yeah, 68 offensive snaps, so 87%. I like that. I think this could be the week. Flex for $19.
Nice. Let's see.
Austin Eckler, James White, Joe Mixon.
Woods.
Robert Woods.
18.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's way too cheap.
That's contrarian right there. That's contrarian build.
All right, man. Well, we did it, man. We won the baller.
We do. I look forward to the money appearing in my account. What have you got going on this weekend, Alex? Tell us about any. We got On the Contrary tomorrow with Sal Vetri.
Yes, that'll be fun because Sal, really good football mind. I haven't actually done a show with him yet, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh
yeah,
man, Sal knows his stuff. It's nuts. If you have not watched a show with him, I suggest you do. He appears on the NFL Strategy show, I believe, twice a week. So it'll be great to have him on tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and besides that, I'm making my projections extra good this weekend because I mean, there's a lot of money on the line, so I'm not gonna leave any corner unturned here.
How can you improve upon perfection, Alex?
Yeah, fair. Yeah, actually, I mean, they'll probably be just as good as always.
Well, good luck this week in the final. Hope you take it down and fly us all out there for an awesome vacation. And we will meet back here to discuss your winnings next week. Same time, same channel. We'll also be discussing our winning best ball or winning dollar baller lineup. It's going to be a great week.
Well, the great thing is we'll be celebrating winning the baller with all of our viewers here.
Absolutely, we're gonna be. It's just gonna be a celebratory show. We're gonna crack some beers. It's Christmas. It's great. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you don't mind hitting that like button on your way out, we greatly appreciate it. Thanks to Yahoo for sponsoring the show as well. They are the place to go for DFS, in my opinion, this year, and you should go over there and play if you're not already. Lower management fees, less sharp competition, great contests, sometimes no management fees. Like, why aren't you playing over there? Do it. All right, thanks, guys.